Hi there. My name's Perry Gruber. I'm a spiritualist. You could say that, in the words of Seth, I am a dream art scientist. And I've been in this work of spirituality for probably most of my life, but in a devoted sense for the last 10 or 12 years. In that time, I've produced some remarkable experiences in my personal life, and through my work with clients, replicated those experiences in my clients' lives. This YouTube channel is transforming. It once was a chronicle of my own personal experience and the testimonies of my clients. But with the advent of the future that is emerging from among us, it's time to transform this YouTube channel into an homage of what's possible between AI, humanoid robots, and humanity. We are heading toward a fabulous future, one that's going to be technology enabled in a way that it never has been before. But in order for us to embrace this as human beings, we have to approach our reality, this future, from a place of joy, not fear, from a place of openness, not hesitation, from a place of promise, not peril. And so this YouTube channel is going to be about helping people like you discover the tremendously promising future that is coming our way and the possibilities that are available for you specifically as both a human being and a spiritual being. Now, my experience over my lifetime is chronicled in a blog that I wrote about my trajectory through the practice that I give to my clients, the practice that produces extraordinary results in my life and in my clients' lives. I'm going to include a link to that blog post because it gives a very compelling testimony of how accurate everything you're about to hear on this YouTube channel is. But I'm going to give you a little some cliff notes of that blog post so that you get a sense, just in case you don't go and look at it, you get a sense of what I'm talking about. Several years ago, I was married, and in that experience, I was also striving to become a startup entrepreneur. That endeavor didn't pan out. And as a result of that, I was somewhat morose in my marriage. And one day, my wife told me, when I was in the fetal position on our bed, she said, "You're not very attractive when you're like this. You ought to dive more into the law of attraction." Yes, a lot of what I share is based on the law of attraction, but it's not the only source. You can find out about the sources I draw from on my website, positivelyfocused.co, in the About section. Anyway, back to the story. My wife, she didn't know it at the time, but she was serving as an angel for me. And her admonishment caused me to double down on my own devotion to the spiritual practice that I now call Positively Focused. In doubling down on that practice, I dove in more into the Seth's teachings and to the teachings of Abraham Hicks. And I started attending Abraham Hicks ceremonies or events. Now, if you don't know what an Abraham Hicks event is, it's very much like a toned down version of a Tony Robbins event, except instead of being super motivational, it's more about connecting to your inner being, your broader perspective, that part of you that is more spiritual than physical. And Abraham is a non-physical being that is channeled through a person called Esther Hicks. When I first went to one of these seminars, even though I was attached to and believed in law of attraction, the spiritual nature of that experience kind of turned me off. In fact, I was kind of skeptical because it seemed as though everybody who was being called to the stage to speak to Abraham had questions that perfectly dovetailed the person who came before that person. I was sitting in this audience trying to figure out how that was happening. And I decided that these people must be plants. They must be people who Esther Hicks had put into the audience beforehand and then selected them seemingly deliberately, but in a spiritual sense, not like they were plants. And the more I thought about this and watched how this event unfolded, the more skeptical I got, until Esther and Abraham pointed to me and invited me to the stage. That experience turned into a dramatic unfolding over several years that culminated with personal one-on-one sessions that Abraham offered me at no cost to me, in which they shared with me how the universe works. It was 10 weeks long, and after those sessions, I realized that we are all creators of our reality. We are all moving through this physical reality for a specific purpose. And the physical reality that we are moving through is uniquely ours as individuals, created by the thoughts and beliefs we hold on to. And as I've practiced the processes or the approach that is the basis of what I just told you, my life has gotten better, more satisfying, richer. I've become more sovereign, enthusiastic about life, much more connected to all that is, much more powerful in my ability to create what it is I want, and most importantly, related to this positively focused YouTube channel, I can see versions of the future that offer humanity and each of us as individuals tremendous opportunity. But in order to embrace that unfolding future, we as individuals must let go of thoughts and beliefs that have us fearful of a future where our jobs disappear. We have to align ourselves with beliefs, thoughts and beliefs that have us see evidence showing us that the future we're moving into is a secure future for us as individuals and for humanity as a whole. We have to adopt a positive focus about the world around us. And the more we can do that, the more we'll discover that there's an overwhelming amount of evidence proving everything you've just heard in this video to be 100% accurate. The problem is, you're not an empty vessel. You are already full of an enormous number of thoughts and beliefs that have you seeing the world that you currently see. And if the world you currently see conjures from within you fear or insecurity about where your money's going to come from, about what's going to happen if you lose your job, about what this technology brings, whether it's going to end humanity or some other crazy idea like that, then you have some unpacking to do, just like I had some unpacking to do when my wife admonished me when I was in the fetal position on our bed. So that's what this YouTube channel is now about. Now, a lot of people who profess to be spiritual teachers, they will offer you platitudes and superficial sayings like, just be happy, or vibrate positively, or these kinds of superficial statements. But they don't offer, not many of them offer, how to vibrate positively or how to create reality. My blog, positivelyfocused.co, and this YouTube channel over time tells you how to do it. It also offers client testimonies as well as client stories, examples from my clients' lives that demonstrate the accuracy of what I'm saying right now. I'm going to be adding my own personal experiences in videos in I think it's called the personal section of this blog, so that you can hear my own personal examples as well. You'll find that if you take what you're hearing to heart and put it into practice in your life, you will discover exactly the same results that I'm talking about here. And I'm not just talking about manifesting money or manifesting a new car or a girlfriend or a lover, although those things have happened to both me and my clients. The more important manifestations I'm talking about are the ability to demonstrate to yourself that you are a God in human form, becoming more godlike every day, to the degree that you line up with how the universe sees your world, how your broader perspective sees the world, and you in it, which is ultimately from the most positive perspective imaginable. And when you align with that perspective, you can realize certain abilities that people think are fantastical, abilities like clairvoyance, abilities like perceiving the future for other people, being able to read people's thoughts, being able to perceive how the universe is lovingly delivering to you everything you're wanting every minute of your life. Now, if your life isn't going that way, then this is the place to be. And if you're worried about the future, with this AI-enabled future that is coming, then this is the place to come, because the spiritual material I'm going to offer is going to show you that the AI future that is coming is not a threat. It is an invitation to your greater expansion. Welcome to Positively Focused. If you're inspired by what you've just heard, please like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.